and online at 965thechill.com. Tune in on the FM dial in Christian County and on your computer or smartphone. Hear these great artists and many more 24 hours a day, 7 days a week on 965thechill.com.
This is staff meteorologist Paul Trombley with your regional radio forecast. Daytime highs approaching 32 with fog in spots early today under cloudy skies. Winds out of the south 8 to 15 miles per hour. Lows level off around 25 tonight, mainly cloudy skies. High of 40 tomorrow. Cloudy skies with a few peaks of sun. Get weather anytime by calling 824-6101 or online at TaylorvilleDailyNews.com. Currently 14.
WTIM.
You're listening to WTIM, your information station. Time now for your expanded local news. I'm Reed Kamai. Illinois House Minority Leader Tony McComey is pushing for greater transparency in state government this legislative session. The Savannah Republican has filed legislation that would require audio and video recordings of all General Assembly committee hearings to be made available to the public for 30 days. McComey says the goal is to rebuild trust in state government.
A lack of transparency leads to a lack of trust. Illinois residents should be able to follow the legislative process either in real time or after hearings have taken place. There is no reason that a government that works for the people should keep anything that directly impacts them behind closed doors. This isn't something Illinois should be lagging behind on. With Democrat leaders already committing their support, I expect this bill to be a bipartisan, unanimous agreement.
McComey says transparency becomes especially important during the final weeks of the spring session when major legislation, including the state budget, is often debated late at night and out of public view. She calls the proposal a common sense step, noting that 44 other states already provide public access to legislative hearings. Support for the idea appears to be bipartisan. House Speaker Emanuel Chris Welch and Senate President Don Harmon recently signaled their backing in written letters to the Better Government Association. Welch called the proposal, quote, not only a reasonable request, but also a transformative one. McComey's bill, House Bill 4383, will now move through the legislative process. The Illinois House is scheduled to return to session on February 17th. The Christian County Historical Society is working to plan and promote multiple events in the early spring. Their annual Earth Day celebration highlights the plans and is expected to feature many of the same fun activities as before. They also have a fundraiser later this month, which will help them finance their busy schedule in the warmer months to come. The fundraiser is their annual drive-through chicken and noodles dinner. It's scheduled for Sunday, February 22nd from 11 in the morning until 1:30 in the afternoon, or when the food runs out. Jody Heberling, Christian County Historical Society co-president, says this is typically one of their biggest fundraisers of the year. Proceeds help cover their operating costs.
So we try to get out and sell tickets in advance, and we would welcome anybody that would like to get a hold of us, any of the board members or even out the museum, and we'll connect and get you some tickets. And it'll just be drive-through. We'll have help that'll deliver it to your car. So the weather, you don't have to worry about the weather. You're just going to pull up and tell us how many you want, and we'll fix you up. We are going to offer, instead of a dinner, just a quart of chicken and noodles if you would prefer to get them that way. So I think it might be a new option that we're offering, and I hope people like the idea, because we give you a hearty meal when we serve out there. So I think anybody that's been there has been very pleased with what they end up with. We usually have chicken and noodles, mashed potatoes, green beans, a roll, a cookie, and you don't go away hungry. They're good servings.
Every spring, the Historical Society hosts a cleanup day to help prepare the grounds for future events and general visitors. This year's cleanup day will take place on Saturday, April 4th from 10 in the morning to 2 in the afternoon.
Well, after the weather we've had the last week, we're all ready for a little spring. So hopefully by April the 4th, when we have a cleanup day scheduled, it'll be nice weather that we can uncover flowers and rake leaves and dust the buildings. So we're always thankful to get volunteers out there. And it's easier if we set a day and say, come down, we'll find something for you to do and try to get it accomplished.
Anything people should bring if they want to help out?
It doesn't hurt to have a rake or a broom or dust rags, and your energy.
The first major community event thereafter is the Earth Day celebration. It will happen on Sunday, April 19th from 11 in the morning to 3 in the afternoon.
We are working on kids' activities. It's recycle, reuse, and we try to make it hands-on. In the past, the kids have planted seeds. They've made necklaces. They've made quilt squares. So we try to find something new and gear it towards kindergarten to 6th grade so they can come out and see the museum and the buildings and the artifacts and have a little bit of fun in the process. And we do have a pie auction. Usually, I believe we got it planned around 12:30-ish. We usually have a variety of pies. Gooseberry's usually pretty popular, blackberry. We have snuck a few coconut creams in. So we usually have a pretty good variety to pick from. And we usually sell about 10 or 12. So you get a chance to get in there and we can raise some money auctioning pies.
The Historical Society will continue to host school tours as well. They had a number of schools visit with their own staff and volunteers on hand to educate the students about the various exhibits.
We have several different schools that come out, and I think it's usually somewhere between 2nd and 4th grade like to come. 2nd graders or 4th graders, depending on the school district. And we are able to divide them up in groups and take them through the buildings in little groups and explain things and let them ask questions. They were excited to see some of their school, like Memorial School is on the wall a long time ago.
Yep. Nice.
So when they find the pictures of that, it's like, oh, that's where we went to school. That's where we're going to school. And the other thing that's really popular is the jail cells in the basement. They have some names that are familiar. And, they're like, that's my uncle, scratched in the wall of the jail. So that's a pretty good laughing point at sometimes.
The organization is always accepting volunteers. Those interested in volunteering or learning more about doing so can visit the Historical Society at 1791 Morrison Drive in Taylorville or email ccgs28@gmail.com.
We're always looking for somebody to help with cleanup, sitting in the buildings. When we have school tours, we like to have extra, I think they're called docents, out to help explain what the buildings represent and how they were used in their era. And we just need all the help we can get.
Yeah. So if folks want to volunteer, how would they start that process?
We're still in winter hours right now. So I'll say that right off the bat. We will start being open again in this weekend on Saturdays. And until April, we are just open on Saturdays. And then starting in April through November, we're open on Thursday, Fridays, and Saturdays, 10 to 3. So if you are interested in becoming a volunteer, it's as easy as showing up out there. We'll have a volunteer form for you to fill out, and we'll get you set up and give you a job.
Find out more about the CCHS at christiancountyhistorical.com. More information is also available at their Facebook page. Jody Heberling appeared as a guest on the WTIM Morning Show. Tri-County residents are reminded that they have through Saturday, February 28th to shop and vote in Taylorville Community Credit Union's 12th annual Stop Shop Vote program. Through the program, 8 graduating seniors from Taylorville, Hillsborough, Litchfield, and Pana high schools will each receive $1,000 scholarships this spring to use toward continuing education, including trade schools, community colleges, or 4-year universities. 2 winners from each high school will be selected based on votes cast by shoppers at participating local businesses. Shoppers earn 1 vote for every $10 spent at those businesses. TCCU President Will Perkins says the program benefits both students and the local economy, encouraging residents to shop local while helping students pursue their educational goals. There is no limit to how many participating businesses shoppers can visit or how many times they can shop and vote before the deadline. Participating locations are identified by program posters with ballots and ballot boxes available inside. Voting results will be collected and tabulated by an independent agency, with awards presented later this spring. More information about the Stop Shop Vote program, as well as Taylorville Community Credit Union membership, can be found at tccu.org. Membership is open to anyone who lives or works in Shelby, Christian, or Montgomery counties. Taylorville Community Credit Union is celebrating 70 years of service throughout 2026. This portion of the expanded local news is sponsored by First National Bank in Taylorville.
I'm James Kirk, Vice President at First National Bank in Taylorville. I get it. Switching banks sounds like a chore, but we make it easy. I've helped people and businesses move their accounts with less hassle than they've expected and more personal service than they've ever gotten before. We've been here for nearly 70 years, a true community bank that's not going anywhere. If you're ready to make a change, we're ready to help. First National Bank in Taylorville, first every time for nearly 70 years. Member FDIC.
Organizers for the annual Daisy Trail Candlelight Walk in Shelbyville are preparing for a second attempt at putting the event on. It's set now for Saturday, February 14th, Valentine's Day, of course, from 6 to 8 in the evening. The original date was January 17th, but cold weather forced them to postpone the event. The Candlelight Walk is renowned for its pure beauty on a well-known trail in Shelbyville. In addition, the rearrangement of the walk to Valentine's Day is expected to add extra significance this year. Bob Niestrat helps orchestrate the Daisy Trail Candlelight Walk. He says every part of the path has enough light to keep visitors on track.
We turn the lights off and have it at night. And then we put, I think it's right around 500 little white bags with candles in it on the walkway. So that kind of lights your path.
Yes.
You're never going to get lost or disoriented, with the lighting that we do have.
Yes.
And then we got a crew that comes along and hangs 220 in the trees.
Wow.
And those all have LED lights in them, just from a safety standpoint.
Yes.
And that's one of those ones I mentioned earlier that just literally stopped me in my tracks the first time I saw it.
Yeah.
And I think it would do it to most people that have never been on the walk.
Yes.
So from that standpoint, it's well worth it. It's just, we have a huge bonfire. We encourage people to come up and stand and warm up by. There's hot chocolate, there's hot spice cider, and help yourself.
One way in which the trail is lit up is through candlelight globes. These are ice spheres with lights inside.
Well, Mark, I get, I go out to Dollar General and I get a bag of 12-inch balloons, just party balloons, and fill them full of water. And, I've got a system where I don't use tap water because that comes out as a cloudy globe.
Okay.
It's not transparent. So I've got a system to get distilled water in there. And over the years, I've learned that it takes 13 to 14 hours in the freezer. And if I take them out at that time, I can still break a hole in the bottom of them, let the excess water out, and then I have a hollow globe. And the ice is anywhere from an inch to an inch and a half thick, and you put a light underneath that, and it just shines through the ice.
In addition to the lights, the usual sounds of nature are present as well.
I think this is our 15th or 16th year for the walk, so I'll bet you 20 years.
That's unbelievable.
It doesn't seem like that.
No, it doesn't. But what an addition to Shelbyville.
Very widely used. You see anybody and everybody out there. You know, it's kind of unique from that standpoint, but it's just literally a walk through the woods. You know, it's a gravel surface, tarred and gravel, so it's very comfortable to walk on. If you take your time and listen, you'll hear a lot of different animals, different birds. I do notice a lot of people walk with their head down. You know, I wish they would walk with their head up. But
Yeah.
They're missing a lot of things, but it's just beautiful. And during the wintertime, the trail just takes on a different appearance.
Yeah.
It's the same trail, but just a whole different appearance.
Nystrat speaks highly of the overall aesthetic of the experience. He says a marriage proposal even took place at last year's walk, and with this year's edition now set for Valentine's Day, there's no telling what may happen this time.
It truly is. I mean, there's been a couple of times it's literally stopped me in my tracks, and I'm involved in setting up some of the new ideas that we've come up with over the years. It just kind of takes your breath away when you see it for the first time. Mark, last year was the first time we had a proposal out on the trail during the walk.
Wow.
So anything goes. Use your own imagination when you come out.
Yeah.
Yeah, we actually had a marriage proposal.
Wow.
Set up on the trail last year.
More information on the Daisy Trail Candlelight Walk is available on Daisy Trail's Facebook page. Bob Nystrat appeared as a guest on the WTIM Shelbyville Morning Show. The Taylorville Kiwanis Club was updated on the annual pancake and sausage fundraising breakfast at their Tuesday noon meeting at the Moose Lodge. It was the club's monthly business meeting where committee chairs report on the many activities the club is involved in to raise money locally. The club then turns those dollars into making a positive impact on the lives of the children in the community. The annual Pancake and Sausage Breakfast fundraiser will be held April 25th from 6:30 until 11 in the morning at the Taylorville Moose Lodge. The fundraiser will be promoted as an all-you-can-eat breakfast. Tickets are $9 each and will soon be available for purchase at several community locations and from any Kiwanis member. Kiwanis Student Leadership Chair Will Perkins informed the membership he is working on an inter-club visit to the Taylorville High School Key Club. He also stated that it is likely that the club may not be sponsoring the Builders Club for this year. At this time, sponsorship is still being pursued. Kiwanis Priority 1 Chair Bruce Blanchard confirmed that Kiwanis Kids Days is scheduled to be held September 18th and 19th this year. This is one of the biggest fundraising events held annually to support the many youth-focused programs supported by the Taylorville Kiwanis Club. Interclub Chairman Blaine Cornwell reported that he is planning a visit to a Decatur club sometime in late March or early April. A short presentation was given by Kiwanis District Representative David Meese, providing an overview on new club creation, membership growth, and membership retention. The Taylorville Kiwanis Club is part of a global organization of volunteers dedicated to improving the world one child and one community at a time. Weekly meetings are held Tuesdays at noon at the Taylorville Moose Lodge. For information on the club, go to taylorvillekiwanis.com or email the club at taylorvillekiwanis@gmail.com. A quiet start on the weather front as we begin February in Illinois. Temperatures may climb into the 50s next week, but things will get more active, says DTN agriculture meteorologist Don Baranek. He says there is the potential for freezing rain, but nothing to the extent of what occurred in Nashville last week. Now to obituaries, which can be found at TaylorvilleDailyNews.com. 75-year-old Rebecca Arkebauer of Palmer died on Sunday. Visitation is tomorrow from 9 till noon at Perfetti and Asali Funeral Home in Morrisonville. The funeral service will immediately follow. Burial will be at Morrisonville Cemetery. Funeral arrangements are being handled by Perfetti and Asali Funeral Home in Morrisonville. 78-year-old Frank Earl Vogel of Argenta died. Visitation is today from 10 till noon at Calvert and Wilcoff Funeral Home in Blue Mound. The funeral service will immediately follow. Burial will be at Mount Auburn Cemetery. Funeral arrangements are being handled by Calvert and Wilcoff Funeral Home in Blue Mound. 96-year-old Lester D. Southard of Taylorville died on Sunday. Visitation is today from 10 till noon at Grace Baptist Church in Taylorville. The funeral service will immediately follow. Burial will be at Oak Hill Cemetery. Funeral arrangements are being handled by McClure Funeral Home and cremation services in Taylorville. 81-year-old Edith Louise Moore of Mount Auburn died January 31st, which was Saturday. A memorial service will take place February 13th at noon at Mount Auburn Community Center. Funeral arrangements are being handled by Sutton Memorial Home in Taylorville. 67-year-old Terry L. Trulock of Taylorville died January 28th. Visitation is Saturday from 10 till noon at Sutton Memorial Home in Taylorville. The funeral service will immediately follow. Burial will be at Oak Hill Cemetery. Funeral arrangements are being handled by Sutton Memorial Home in Taylorville. And 88-year-old Sona Beavers of Taylorville died January 16th. A memorial mass will take place on March 6th at 10 at St. Mary's Catholic Church in Taylorville. Interment will be at Green Hill Cemetery. Funeral arrangements are being handled by McClure Funeral Home and cremation services in Taylorville. Get local news anytime at TaylorvilleDailyNews.com and every hour as well right here on WTIM, your only local news radio. We're expecting a high today of 32, a low around 25, mostly cloudy all day long.
Find out all the great things happening in the Pana area on the